The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets in the boys' bathroom of Roosevelt High, the kind of sound that drilled into your skull on a bad day. Bobby Ramirez slammed his locker shut, heart pounding as the door to the stall behind him creaked open, revealing 3 shadows that smelled of cheap Axe body spray and entitlement. "Faggot thinks he can just prance around like he owns the place," snarled Jake Harlan, the quarterback with a jaw like a brick wall, his fist already cocked like a loaded gun. Blood hit the cracked tile floor before Bobby could even scream, a sharp crack echoing off the graffiti-scarred walls. His nose exploding under the first punch, warm copper flooding his mouth as the world tilted into a haze of betrayal and blinding pain. Bobby spat out a glob of red onto the sink, the mirror splintered from some long-ago fight reflecting back a version of himself he barely recognized. 17 years old, wiry build from too many shifts bussing tables at his mom's taqueria, dark curls matted with sweat and blood, brown eyes wide with the kind of fear that hardens into armor. Jake and his crew, Tyler with the buzz cut and perpetual sneer, and Marcus, the silent enforcer, circled him like wolves scenting weakness. It wasn't the first time. Last week it had been a shoved textbook into the mud outside the cafeteria. The week before, queer scrawled in Sharpie across his gym bag. But today, with homecoming banners flapping in the rainy Seattle wind outside, they smelled blood in the water. "You tell anyone about this, Ramirez, and we'll make sure your little fairy ass doesn't walk out of here next time," Jake growled, wiping his knuckles on his Letterman jacket. The door swung open then, a janitor's mop sloshing in the hall, and they scattered like roaches, leaving Bobby slumped against the porcelain, gasping for air that tasted like regret. He'd known coming out would cost him. In this sprawling suburb of Capitol Hill knockoffs, where rainbow flags fluttered from coffee shops but bigoted whispers still slithered through the bleachers, being gay wasn't a flag you waved without paying the toll. Bobby's mom, Elena, had hugged him tight when he told her last summer, her calloused hands from kneading masa smelling of cilantro and quiet pride. "Mi amor, the world is cruel, but your heart is steel," she'd said, her accent thick as the fog rolling off Lake Washington. Dad had been gone since Bobby was 10. A construction accident on the I-5 overpass that left them scraping by on tips and Elena's endless shifts. No fatherly wisdom, just the ghost of his old man's work boots by the door, a reminder that some men break before they bend. Wiping his face with a wad of rough paper towels, Bobby straightened his hoodie, faded gray with a hole at the cuff, and slipped into the hallway. The bell rang, a shrill wail that herded kids toward English Lit, but his sneakers stuck to the linoleum like they were glued. Whispers followed him. "Did you see his face? Fucking deserved it." He kept his head down, backpack slung low, dodging the clusters of cheerleaders in pleated skirts and the stoner kids vaping in the stairwells. Roosevelt High was a pressure cooker of teenage Darwinism. All cliques and crushes under the perpetual gray sky, where the only sun was the kind you chased in dive bars on 15th Avenue. By lunch, the swelling had turned his nose into a purple plum, and he skipped the cafeteria line for the bleachers behind the soccer field. Rain pattered on the metal roof like impatient fingers, and he pulled out his sketchbook, the one thing that didn't judge. Charcoal smudged his fingers as he drew, jagged lines of a figure running through storm clouds, chased by faceless hounds. Art was his escape, the one class where Mr. Hargrove, the balding relic with coffee breath, let him breathe. But even there, Jake's glare from across the room burned holes. That's when the new guy showed up. Afternoon announcements crackled over the intercom. "Please welcome Mr. Spencer Hale to the faculty." He'll be taking over for MS. Rivera in history. Bobby didn't look up from his half-eaten PB&J. But the shift in the air was palpable, a ripple through the cafeteria like when a celebrity walked in. Whispers turned curious. Heard he's from New York. Looks like that actor from those gritty cop shows. Bobby caught a glimpse later, slipping into Hargrove's room early to clean his brushes. Spencer Hale strode in like he owned the Pacific. Tall and broad-shouldered, mid-30s with a jaw carved from granite and hair that was more salt than pepper, tousled like he'd just rolled out of a truck bed. His button-down strained against biceps that spoke of manual labor, not desk jobs, and his eyes, stormy blue, like the chop on Elliott Bay, scanned the room with the wariness of someone who'd seen too many battles. A faded tattoo peeked from his cuff, some tribal ink that whispered stories Bobby couldn't read. Mr. Hale. Bobby froze, brush dripping black onto the floor. Spencer's gaze locked on him, softening just a fraction. Kid, you look like you went 10 rounds with a freight train. Sit. It wasn't a request. Spencer guided him to a stool with a hand on his shoulder, firm, steady, the kind of touch that didn't demand but anchored. Close. He smelled like pine soap and old books, a combo that hit Bobby like a gut punch. Name's Spencer. And you are Bobby Ramirez. His voice cracked, cheeks burning under the scrutiny. Spencer's brow furrowed, a flicker of something unreadable crossing his face. Recognition? Pain? Rough morning. Huh? This place. It chews up the good ones. He grabbed a first aid kit from the supply closet, dabbing antiseptic on Bobby's nose with surprising gentleness. Their eyes met in the mirror propped against the wall, and for a split second, the world narrowed, just the two of them, rain drumming outside, a spark igniting in the quiet. Bobby pulled away, mumbling thanks, heart jackhammering. Teachers weren't supposed to look at you like that, like they saw the fractures and wanted to solder them shut. But Spencer just nodded, clapping his shoulder once more. World's full of assholes, Bobby. But you're tougher than they know. Now get to class before I write you a hall pass for brooding. The rest of the day blurred. Algebra equations that danced like fireflies. Gym class where he faked a sprain to avoid the showers. But Spencer's words lingered, a buoy in the chop. That night, at the taqueria, Elena arched a brow over the steaming pots. Mijo, your face. Quien hizo esto? He shrugged it off, blaming a door, but her eyes narrowed, the mama radar unerring. School is no place for lies, Bobby. Promise me you'll tell if it's bad. I promise, he lied, sketching her portrait later in his room, the neon sign from the shop bleeding red through the blinds. Sleep came fitful, dreams tangled with blue eyes and bloodied tiles. Monday hit like a hangover. Jake's crew upped the ante. A shoved shoulder in the hall that sent Bobby sprawling into a trash can. Lunch money borrowed with a knee to the ribs. By third period, he was nursing bruises in the nurse's office, ice pack pressed to his side. When Spencer appeared in the doorway, tie loosened, sleeves rolled up. Ramirez. My room. Now, it was gruff, but the undercurrent pulled like a riptide. In the empty history classroom, maps of forgotten empires curling at the edges, Spencer leaned against his desk, arms crossed. This isn't a game, kid. I saw the marks. Talk. Bobby's throat tightened. It's nothing. Just guys being guys. Bullshit. Spencer's voice dropped, edged with gravel. I know that look. The one that says you're carrying the weight of the goddamn world. Spill. The dam cracked. Words tumbled out. Jake's taunts. The whispers. The isolation that clawed deeper than fists. I'm gay. Okay. And they make it my fault. Tears stung. Hot and unwelcome. Spencer's face darkened. A storm cloud rolling in. He pushed off the desk, pacing like a caged panther. Listen to me, Bobby. Being who you are, that's not a weakness. It's your superpower. Those pricks? They're scared shitless because you got the guts to live true. He stopped, close enough that Bobby could see the faint scar above his lip, the lines etched from too many unsmiling years. I won't let this slide. But you gotta fight smart. Allies, not alone. For the first time in months, Bobby felt seen not as the freak, but as a survivor. Why do you care? He whispered. Spencer hesitated, jaw working. Because I've been there. Broke back roads and all. A ghost of a smile, bitter as black coffee. Class starts in 5. Go wash up. That intervention rippled. Spencer pulled Jake into the office next day, voice low and lethal behind closed doors. Whispers flew. New guys got balls. Jake slunk away, eyes down. But the truce was fragile as eggshell. Bobby caught Spencer watching him in the halls. A nod here, a keep your chin up there. The built, slow and seismic. Shared sketches after school. Spencer critiquing with a laugh that rumbled like thunder. Stories swapped over vending machine cokes. Spencer's tales of East Coast winters clashing with Bobby's rainy Soto roots. One afternoon, rain lashing the windows like judgment, Spencer found him in the art room again. Drawing me? He peered over Bobby's shoulder at the charcoal sketch. Spencer's profile. Fierce and tender. Caught me. Bobby flushed, closing the pad too fast. Don't hide it. It's good. Real. Spencer's fingers brushed his, lingering a beat too long. Electricity crackled. Unspoken. You got fire in you, kid. Don't let them snuff it. The pull was magnetic. Dangerous. Bobby dreamed of those hands, calloused and kind, mapping paths he shouldn't trace. But lines blurred. Teacher, mentor, something more? Seattle's progressive facade hid Puritan bones, and crossing that, ruin. Weeks blurred into a fragile rhythm. Spencer wove himself into Bobby's days, extra credit on civil rights essays that mirrored their talks. A borrowed hoodie during a downpour that smelled like him for days. Jake's crew simmered, plotting in shadows, but Spencer's presence was a shield. Until the assembly. Homecoming pep rally. Gym packed with screaming bodies. Confetti cannons primed. Bobby sat in the bleachers, sketchbook idle, when Jake's voice cut through the cheer. Hey, fairy, draw this. A wadded paper hit his head, unfolding to a crude cartoon. Bobby on his knees, labeled teacher's pet cock. Laughter erupted, a wave crashing. He bolted, chest heaving, into the empty locker room. Sobs racked him, raw and ragged, until the door creaked. Spencer, Ty Askew from wrangling the crowd. Bobby, go away. He curled on the bench, hoodie over his head. They know. Everyone knows. Spencer knelt, voice a lifeline. Fuck them. You're not alone. He pulled Bobby into a hug, arms like oak, heartbeat steady against his ear. Time suspended, rain a distant roar. When they parted, eyes locked, The air thickened with what-ifs. You get it? Bobby murmured, thumb tracing Spencer's jaw unthinking. Spencer's breath hitched. More than you know, but he pulled back, shadows in his eyes. We can't. The door banged open. Principal Vargas, face thunderous. Mr. Hale, a word. Suspicion bloomed. Whispers of inappropriate slithered through faculty lounge. Bobby's heart sank, the shield cracking. The fallout hit like Seattle sleet. Cold, relentless, numbing everything it touched. Principal Vargas hauled Spencer into her office that Friday. The one with the motivational posters peeling at the corners. Reach for the Stars, featuring a kid climbing a ladder that looked more like a guillotine. Bobby lingered outside, ear pressed to the door. Heart a war drum. Voices muffled. Vargas's clipped tone. Spencer's low rumble edged with steel. This isn't New York, Mr. Hale. We have protocols. That boy, Ramirez, he's vulnerable. Your involvement raises flags. Involvement. Spencer's laugh was bitter. A bark. I'm protecting a kid from bullies who think hate's a contact sport. You gonna stand by while they break him? A pause. Heavy as lead. Document everything. And keep distance. Or we're having a different conversation. Bobby slipped away before they emerged. Cheeks burning. Protection or something else. The hug replayed in loops. Spencer's cologne clinging like a promise. The way his stubble rasped against Bobby's temple. Forbidden fruit in a school built on rules sharper than switchblades. Monday brought a chill wind off the sound, stripping leaves from the maples lining the parking lot. Spencer was there. Same broad frame filling the doorway of History 201. But his eyes skipped over Bobby like a stone on water. Deliberate. Distant. No nods. No chin up. Just chalk dust and timelines of the Stonewall riots. Voice flat as he lectured on catalysts of change. Bobby's pen scratched furious notes. But inside, betrayal festered. Had it all been pity? A savior complex for the queer kid with a busted nose? After class, he lingered, backpack zipped tight. Mr. Hale? About Friday. Office hours are Wednesdays. Mr. Ramirez. The title hit like a slap, formal as a straitjacket. Spencer's gaze flicked to the clock, then away. Get to lunch. The dismissal stung worse than Jake's fists. Bobby stormed out, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the periodic table poster. In the bathroom, the same bloody tiles, he punched the mirror, knuckles splitting anew. Fucking hypocrite, he muttered, blood dripping in sync with tears. Gay history 1 minute, ghosting the next. It reeked of self-preservation. The kind that left casualties in the dust. Words spread like wildfire through the vape clouds. Hails on thin ice. Jake's crew crowed, emboldened, cornering Bobby by the vending machines that afternoon. Teacher, dump your ass already. Princess, Tyler jeered, shoving a shoulder that sent quarters scattering. Marcus loomed, cracking knuckles, while Jake leaned in close, breath hot with Red Bull. Bet he likes em young and stupid. Just like you. Fight or flight, Bobby chose teeth. At least he sees me. You're invisible without your balls. The punch came fast. Jake's ring splitting his lip. But Bobby swung back, connecting with a satisfying thud to the gut. Chaos erupted, shouts, a teacher's whistle piercing the din. Detention. Shared, of course. The room smelled of eraser shavings and regret. Fluorescent hum the only soundtrack as they sat across scarred desks. Jake glowered, ice pack blooming purple on his eye. You're dead, Ramirez. Promises. Promises. Bobby smirked through the blood. But inside, hollow. No Spencer to pull strings this time. Vargas swept in at the bell, her bun tighter than her smile. Gentlemen, this ends now. Counseling for both of you. And Mr. Ramirez, your mother's been called. Elena's shift ended early that night, her face a mask of worry lines deepened by the call. The taqueria was slow, the sizzle of carne asada the only comfort as she dabbed his lip with a cool cloth. Bobby, this school is poison. We move back to Abuela's in Tacoma? No, Mom. I can't run. He stirred the rice, avoiding her eyes. There's someone. A teacher. He gets it. But now, her hand stilled. Gets it how? The question hung, loaded. Bobby swallowed. Like me. Gay. He made me feel less alone. Elena's sigh was a gust through the kitchen fan. Mijo. Hearts are tricky beasts. But teachers, lines, Bobby. Cross them, and everyone bleeds. She pulled him close, her embrace a harbor. Promise me caution. For you. For us. Sleep evaded him, rain tapping Morse code on the window. Dreams twisted, Spencer's arms turning to chains, Jake's laughter echoing in voids. Dawn brought resolve, confront or crumble. He cornered Spencer after school, the parking lot a slick mirror of puddles reflecting sodium lamps. Why the freeze-out? After everything, Spencer leaned against his beat-up Ford F-150. Keys jangling like nerves. Rain slicked his hair, darkening the gray to silver. It's not that simple, kid. Vargas is watching. One wrong move, and I'm gone. You're suspended if they pin this on influence. Influence. Bobby's voice cracked. Is that what I am? A problem to manage? No. Spencer stepped forward, hands raised. You're Christ. Bobby, you're fire. But I'm the adult here. I can't. Can't what? Care. The words lashed out. Or is it 'cause I'm just the damaged gay kid? Pity project. Spencer's face crumpled. A crack in the facade. You think that's it? I've lost everything once. Won't do it again. He raked a hand through his hair, voice dropping. My brother. He was like you. Out and proud in a town that ate him alive. AIDS took him in '98. I was too late. Too scared to fight. The confession hung. A bridge over abyss. Bobby's anger deflated, replaced by ache. I'm sorry. Don't be. You're his echo, same fire, same sketches. That's why Spencer trailed off, eyes tracing Bobby's face like a map. I see him. And you. Thunder rumbled, distant. They stood close, breaths mingling in the downpour. Spencer's hand lifted, thumb brushing Bobby's cheek. Tentative, electric. We navigate this smart. Friends. Allies. No lines crossed, but lines were illusions, fragile as spider silk. The touch lingered in Bobby's skin all night, a brand. Friendship bloomed cautious. Study sessions in the library. Spencer's anecdotes of Brooklyn dives where drag queens ruled. Bobby sharing Elena's tamales, laughter bubbling over foil trays. Tension simmered, Unspoken, brushed knees under tables, gazes held a beat too long. Jake's bullying ebbed to glares, cowed by Vargas's watchful eye, but shadows lengthened. Then the betrayal became wrapped in friendship's paper, delivered by Mia, Bobby's sketch club confidant, the artsy girl with purple streaks and a crush on Tyler. They'd bonded over charcoal and crushes, her venting about straight girl woes while he sketched her portraits. "You're my safe space, Bob's," she'd say, hugging tight. Friday art show. Gym transformed into a gallery of teen angst. Canvases dripping emotion, sculptures of twisted wire. Bobby's piece. A charcoal storm of figures entwined in rain. Faces blurred but yearning, hung center stage. Spencer slipped in late, nodding approval from the shadows, his presence a warm current. Mia cornered him post-show, breath bubbly with spiked punch. "Dude, hail, total DILF vibe." "You too." "Vibing," Bobby laughed it off. "Just mentor stuff." Her eyes narrowed. "Sly." "Aha." "Saw him hug you." "Careful, or Jake's crew will eat you alive." But Monday, the whispers turned venomous. Cartoons circulated, Bobby and Spencer, stick figures in compromising poses, taped to lockers. Groomer alert, Mia's handwriting, unmistakable on the margins. Heart-shattering, Bobby confronted her in the girls' room. Bold move, but fury lent wings. "You? Why?" She wilted under the fluorescent glare, tears smudging eyeliner. "Tyler. He said if I helped, he'd ask me out. I thought it was a joke." "God, Bobby, I'm sorry." "Sorry doesn't erase it." He stormed out, the sting of betrayal sharper than any punch. Trust, fragile as it was, pulverized. Spencer found him on the roof access, a forbidden perch overlooking the football field, wind whipping tears dry. "Mia." Bobby nodded, voice hollow. "Everyone turns. Even friends." "Not everyone." Spencer sat beside him, shoulders brushing a lifeline. "You're stronger than this. And I've got your back." The sunset bled orange over the Olympics, a rare break in the clouds. Bobby leaned into him, head on shoulder, Spencer's arm draping casual. "What if we ran? Just left this shithole town?" Spencer's chuckle rumbled. "Tempting. But real life's not a road trip flick." Pause. "Though. I've got a cabin up in the Cascades. Weekend getaway. Platonic. Clear heads." The offer dangled, seductive. Bobby nodded, pulse racing. Escape, even temporary, tasted like hope. Friday night, Spencer's truck 8 miles, winding through evergreens heavy with mist. The cabin was rustic, logs weathered gray, stone fireplace yawning like an invitation. No cell service, just crackling radio and the hoot of owls. They chopped wood, Spencer's axe swings poetry in motion. Grilled trout over open flame, stories flowing like whiskey. By firelight, barriers crumbled. "Tell me about your brother," Bobby urged, embers dancing in his eyes. Spencer stared into flames, voice thick. "Ethan. Artist. Like you. Came out at 16 in Bible Belt hell. Dad disowned him. Mom prayed it away. We moved to the city, but the virus. It was swift. I held his hand at the end. Promised I'd live louder for him." Bobby's hand found his, intertwining. "You do. Every day." The kiss ignited slow, tentative brush of lips, tasting of salt and smoke. Then hunger, hands roaming, breaths ragged. Clothes shed like old skins, bodies mapping new territories on the bearskin rug. Spencer's touch was reverent, worshipful, drawing gasps that echoed off rafters. Beautiful, he murmured against Bobby's throat, fingers tracing tattoos of ink and scars. Dawn found them tangled, world remade in whispers. But paradise fractures. Saturday, a call pierced the bubble. Vargas. Voice tinny on Spencer's burner phone. Rumors. Mr. Hale. Serious ones. Get back. Now. The drive home was silence. Storm clouds gathering. Betrayal's echo. Mia's leak had snowballed. Anonymous tips to the board. They'll fire you, Bobby whispered, hand on Spencer's thigh. Worth it, came the reply, fierce. The truck's tires hummed a dirge on the rain-slicked I-405. Seattle's sprawl swallowing them whole as reality clawed back. Spencer's knuckles whitened on the wheel, jaw set like rebar, while Bobby stared out at the blur of taillights, chest hollowed by dread. The cabin's glow, firelit skin, murmured vows, felt like a fever dream, fragile against the onslaught. What now? Bobby's voice was small, swallowed by the wiper's swish. Spencer glanced over, blue eyes stormy. We face it. Together. No more hiding. But hiding was survival's currency at Roosevelt. Monday dawned vicious. Posters plastered across the commons. Hale's boy toy. Report the perv. Crude Photoshop jobs of their faces spliced onto porn stills. Jake's handiwork. No doubt. Amplified by Mia's whispers. Kids parted like the Red Sea as Bobby walked halls. Stairs drilling holes. In English, a note slid across his desk. Freak. He's next. His pencil snapped. Graphite shards embedding in palm. Vargas called him in during lunch. Office reeking of stale coffee and sanctimony. Bobby. This situation. It's escalated. For your safety. Perhaps a transfer. No. He stood. Chair scraping. It's not me. It's them. Jake. The crew, they're the poison. Her sigh was patronizing. Glasses perched like a judge's gavel. Emotions run high. But Mr. Hale. Allegations are serious. Unprofessional conduct. Conduct. Fury boiled. He saved me. From fists. From myself. You gonna fire the one decent adult here? Decency has boundaries. Young man. She steepled fingers. Go home early. Think. Elena picked him up, her old Civic rattling like bones. The taqueria was shuttered for siesta, but she cooked anyway, pozole steaming with hominy and pork. A balm for battered souls. Tell me everything. Mijo. Over bowls at the Formica table. Poured out. The cabin. The kiss. The cliff-edge love. Her face crumpled. Spoon clattering. Dios mío. He's a man. Bobby. A teacher. This could destroy you both. I love him. Mom. The words landed. Irrevocable. First real thing I've felt. Love. The L word. Weapon and shield. Elena pulled him close. Tears salting the broth. Then fight clean. No more secrets. But hearts break easy in storms like this. Spencer's text buzzed later. Meeting with board tonight. Stay strong. Bobby paced his room. Sketching frenzied. Spencer's profile morphing into a colossus battling dragons. Wings of rainbow fire. But sleep brought nightmares. Spencer's truck vanishing into fog, leaving him chained in the bathroom tiles. Tuesday. The axe fell. Announcements omitted the fanfare. Mr. Spencer Hale has taken a leave of absence. Whispers confirmed. Suspended pending investigation. Bobby's world tilted. No broad frame in doorways. No gravel voice anchoring lectures. History class droned under a sub. A drone in khakis fumbling dates like loose change. Jake pounced at lunch. Crew flanking like hyenas. The courtyard was a wind tunnel. Leaves whirlpooling at their feet. Your boyfriend bail? Told ya. Fags don't last. Tyler laughed. But Marcus hung back. Eyes uneasy. Bobby's fists clenched. Knuckles scarred white. Jealous. 'Cause no one's ever looked at you like that. Jake lunged. But a voice cracked like lightning. Harlan, back off. Coach Ramirez, no relation. But iron-willed, strode in. Whistle gleaming. Detention. All of you. And Jake? One more step. And you're off the team. The reprieve was Pyrrhic. After school, Bobby biked to Spencer's apartment. A walk-up in Fremont. Trolls and graffiti the quirky neighbors. The door opened to disarray. Boxes half-packed. Whiskey bottle half-empty on the coffee table scarred like old wounds. Spencer looked wrecked, stubble shadowing jaw. Eyes bloodshot. They bought the lies, he said. Voice raw. Anonymous sources. Photos from the cabin blurry, but enough. Board wants my resignation by week's end. Bobby's stomach plummeted. Photos? Who? Doesn't matter. It's done. Spencer sank onto the couch. Head in hands. You should go. Before this taints you too. No. Bobby knelt, framing his face. We fight. Together. The kiss was desperate. A clash of teeth and tears. Bodies crashing like waves on jetty rocks. They tumbled to the rug. Urgency masking fear, hands frantic. Breaths prayers. Spencer's murmurs were litanies. Mine. Stay. But climax brought clarity. Cold as dawn. This was no escape. Just borrowed time. Morning brought Elena's knock. Her face etched with resolve. She'd met Spencer at the door, sizing him up like a cut of meat. You hurt my boy. I end you, she warned, but softened over coffee. Her story spilling. Dad's hidden affairs. The hypocrisy that shattered their home. Love's messy. But real, it endures. Allies formed unlikely. Hargrove rallied faculty. Petitions circulating for Spencer's reinstatement. Even Mia, contrite, leaked Jake's texts plotting the photos, stolen from her phone during a party hookup. I owe you, she whispered in the hall, eyes downcast. Fixed my fuck-up, but betrayal's rot spread. Wednesday, the board hearing loomed, a coliseum of suits and scrutiny. Bobby testified via Zoom from the library. Voice steady. Mr. Hale didn't groom. He guarded. In a school that lets hate roam free. Vargas squirmed. Jake's parents lawyered up. But cracks showed. Tyler's wavering. Marcus confessing in whispers to Coach. Climax brewed that night. A storm front barreling in from the Pacific. Bobby waited for Spencer at the cabin. Uninvited, but desperate for air untainted by lies. The drive was a blur. Wipers battling sheets of rain. Fire crackled when he arrived. Spencer already there. Bourbon in hand. You came. Relief washed Spencer's face. pulling Bobby into depths. Always, they made love slow this time, reverent, exploring scars like sacred texts, whispers weaving futures. If we lose this, Spencer breathed against his neck, we build another. Somewhere rainbow flags fly real, postcoital haze shattered by tires on gravel. Headlights pierced the windows, engines growling low. Jake! Bobby bolted up, heart slamming. Spencer grabbed a poker from the hearth. Stay back. The door burst. Not Jake, but shadows, 3 figures in hoodies, faces masked by balaclavas. Not kids, these were men, burly, reeking of beer and grudge. Hail, you sick fuck, growled the leader, voice muffled but familiar, Jake's dad, Harlan Sr., the auto shop owner with a Confederate flag bumper sticker. Flanking him, Tyler's uncle, a cop off duty, and Marcus's old man, fists like hams. You corrupt our boys, Harlan spat, advancing. Time to teach. Panic surged. Spencer shoved Bobby behind, poker raised. Get out. This ain't your fight, but it was. The brawl exploded. Harlan's haymaker glancing Spencer's jaw, poker clanging as Tyler's uncle wrestled it away. Bobby lunged, grabbing a lamp, base heavy as sin, cracking it across the cop's knee. Grunts, curses, furniture splintering. Rain lashed through the shattered window, blood mingling with mud. Spencer's roar cut sharp. Enough! He tackled Harlan, fists flying precise, bar fight honed. But numbers overwhelmed. A boot to ribs, a chokehold tightening. Bobby screamed, vision tunneling, flashes of bathroom tiles. Dad's accident photo, Ethan's ghost. Then sirens wailed, distant thunder resolving to blue-red pulse. Neighbors, roused by noise. The attackers scattered, Harlan cursing as cuffs clicked. Chaos ebbed to hyperventilation, Spencer pulling Bobby close amid shards. You're safe, he murmured, but blood trickled from a gash on his brow. Cops swarmed, irony, a queer-bashing ring led by one of their own. Statements taken by flashlight, Elena arriving in hysterics, wrapping Bobby in her coat. My brave boy, she sobbed. Dawn broke gray, cabin a war zone. Spencer stitched his own brow by lamplight, hands steady. Shocking link. Huh? Harlan Sr. He was Ethan's boss. Fired him for lifestyle. Blamed me for not fixing my brother. This? Personal. Bobby's eyes widened, pieces slotting. The tattoo Ethan's? Spencer nodded. Cuff rolled to reveal matching ink. Intertwined E and S. Faded but fierce. Half-brother secret. Mom's affair. He knew. Hated us for it. Revelation hung, deepening bonds. Family, Bobby whispered. We choose it. The drive back was quiet vigil, hands clasped over gearshift. Seattle awoke to scandal. Headlines in the PI. Vigilantes target gay educator. Petitions exploding. Board reconvened emergency. Harlan's arrest cracked the facade. Mia's evidence damning Jake's plot. Spencer reinstated, with caveats, counseling, oversight. But victory tasted bittersweet. Vargas pulled strings, assigning Spencer to alternative programs, sidelining him from Roosevelt. Protective measure, she claimed, but I said punishment. Bobby cornered her in the hall, fire unquenched. You let this fester. Now fix it. Or we go public. Every kid's story, Every scar. She blanched. Change stirred, slow as tectonic shift. The reinstatement party was a farce, faculty lounge. Tepid punch and store-bought cookies. Hargrove's toast slurring into Vietnam anecdotes. Spencer stood cornered by suits, smile plastic as saran wrap, while Bobby hovered at the edges, nursing a Coke that fizzed like his nerves. Their eyes met across the room, a Morse code of heat and caution, but the crowd's buzz drowned private worlds. "Proud of you," Elena whispered, squeezing his arm before vanishing into the night shift. Her acceptance had solidified. Love him like family, but build slow. Roots before wings. Outside, under sodium halos, Spencer caught him by the bike rack. Walk. Rain held off for once, stars pricking the velvet sky like hesitant confessions. They wandered Fremont's arteries, Troll Bridge humming with traffic, Gasworks Park silhouettes against the bay. Words tumbled. The hearing's underbelly, board members squirming under media glare. Jake expelled, his dad facing charges that stuck like tar. "You were fierce up there," Spencer said, bumping shoulders. "My gladiator," Bobby flushed, ducking a low branch. "Learned from the best." "But alternative ed? That's exile." Spencer's sigh ghosted the air. "Temporary. I'll fight back in. Meanwhile, nights are ours." His hand brushed Bobby's, fingers lacing fleeting, a promise in the dark. Dating, clandestine. Stolen evenings at hole-in-the-wall faux joints on Rainier Avenue, where steam veiled faces and no one cared. Hikes in Discovery Park. Hands swinging free under evergreens. Spencer's stories of Ethan's laugh, of drag shows in the village. Nights alive with glitter and grit. Bobby sketched them into life. Portraits of Spencer midtail, eyes crinkling, or Elena and Spencer chopping onions. An unlikely trio bonded in cilantro-scented kitchens. But conflict coiled, serpent in Eden. Spencer's past resurfaced like driftwood. A letter from Ethan's old lover, forwarded from New York. Yellowed envelope cracking under thumbs. "He'd be proud," it read. "But warn your boy, ghosts haunt deep." Included photos, faded Polaroids of Ethan and Spencer, arms slung, grins defiant. The resemblance hit Bobby anew. Same tilt to the smile, fire in the gaze. Jealousy flickered. Irrational? Was he? Spencer folded the letter, voice soft. "Ethan? Brother, blood and chosen. Lovers? No. But he taught me love's shapes, fierce, fluid." He cupped Bobby's face, thumb tracing lip. "You're not echo. You're crescendo." Intimacy deepened, layers peeling. Spencer's apartment became sanctuary. King bed with flannel sheets, bodies learning rhythms, slow Sundays tangled in limbs, coffee brewing to moans, urgent midweeks, door barely shut before clothes hit floor. "God, you undo me," Spencer growled once, pinning wrists above head, kisses bruising sweet. Bobby arched, whispering vulnerabilities, fears of abandonment, Dad's shadow, the ache of being other, yet betrayal's scar itched. Mia's redemption arc faltered. Tyler's ghosting her led to Barb's in group chat. "At least I got a date out of your drama." Bob's. Bobby blocked her. But poison seeped. Anonymous emails to Spencer, dredging his instability. Ethan's death spun as breakdown, not grief. The real fracture came mid-November, leaves carpeting paths in crimson decay. Spencer's alternative class, dropouts in a strip mall classroom, Kids with piercings and parole drained him, eyes hollowing by eaves. They need me, he'd say. But Bobby saw the toll. Whiskey creeping earlier, silences lengthening. One night, post-shift at the taqueria, Bobby arrived to find Spencer pacing the living room, phone clutched like grenade. Vargas called. Promotion bait. Transfer to admin. Desk job. Stability, they call it. Means quitting the front lines. And us. Bobby's voice trembled. Soup containers forgotten on counter. Spencer's eyes shuddered. I'd commute. See you weekends. Safe. Safe. Echo of Elena's warning. That's cage. Not love. You fight for kids like me. Why stop now? Because losing you. The admission cracked. Ethan gone. Now the scrutiny. I can't bury another. The argument escalated. Words shrapnel. Bobby accusing cowardice. Spencer hurling naive. Youth's armor unbreachable. A slammed door. Bobby storming into rain. Biking home soaked to marrow. Elena found him shivering. Brewing tea with lemon and lies. Fight's part of love. Mijo. But run, that's fear winning. Reconciliation brewed slow. Texts apologetic. A bouquet of wild asters on his porch. Spencer's pick from the park. Note reading roots and wings. Remember, they met neutral. Coffee at Victrola. Steam curling like truce flags. I panicked, Spencer admitted. Fingers drumming mug. Ghosts talking louder than truth. Bobby nodded. Hurt thawing. We decide together. No solo plays. Unity forged stronger. But storm clouds gathered anew. December chill bit. Holidays looming like indictments. Jake's trial date set. Assault charges. Hate crime enhancer. His parents circling wagons. Harlan Sr.'s arraignment a media circus. Whispers reached Roosevelt. Ramirez snitched. Threats escalated. Tires slashed on Elena's Civic. Graffiti on the taqueria. Fag mom. Fear-crested New Year's Eve. City fireworks blooming over the Space Needle. They escaped to the cabin. Determined idle. Champagne bubbly. Resolutions whispered in afterglow. This year. Out and proud. Spencer vowed. Tracing Bobby's spine. No more shadows. But midnight tolled betrayal's bell. Spencer's phone lit. Unknown caller. Voice slurred venom. Harlan Sr. Out on bail. Found your love nest. Hail. Boys next. Family tradition. Panic surged. They barricaded. Calling cops who arrived yawning. Hoax likely. Folks. But sleep fled. Spencer pacing like sentinel. Poker by bed. Dawn brought resolve. We exposed them. All of it. Back in Seattle. Alliance swelled. Hargrove connected them to GLSEN chapter. Lawyers pro bono for the civil suit brewing against the school. Negligence in bullying. Bobby testified again. Voice amplified. They threaten my life. My mom's business. Because I love a man who taught me strength. Media frenzy. Stranger articles headlining. Queer love under fire. Protests at City Hall with signs. Protect our students. Not predators' lies. Jake folded in court. Plea deal crumbling under evidence. His dad flipped. Naming enablers. A network of concerned parents funneling hate. Climax detonated Valentine's week. A hearing packed with allies and adversaries. Spencer at the podium. Voice thunder. I stepped in because no kid should bleed for authenticity. Bobby Ramirez? He's the brave one. I, just the fool who fell in love. Gasps rippled, revelation landing like quake. Bobby's turn. Eyes locked on Spencer's. Words steel. He didn't threaten. He healed. And that link? It's blood, Ethan's ghost. Fighting through him. For us all. Vargas crumbled. Board votes shifting. Full reinstatement. Anti-bullying overhaul. But Harlan's crew retaliated. That night, firebombs at the taqueria. Flames licking stucco as sirens wailed. Bobby arrived to chaos. Elena coughing smoke. Firefighters hosing embers. Spencer there, soot-streaked, holding her shawl. Got your call. We're okay, she rasped, hugging fierce. In the aftermath, ashes sifted for truths. Accelerant traced to Tyler's uncle. Conspiracy unraveling. Arrests cascaded. Justice a domino fall. But personal toll mounted. Spencer, battered by spotlights, withdrew. Fame's a fickle bitch. Needs space to breathe. Bobby's heart clenched. Space? Or out? Space. The word wounded. A fracture. Weeks blurred. Polite texts. Avoided eyes in halls. Betrayal's echo. Spencer's fear mirroring his own past retreats. Confrontation brewed at the cabin. Spring thaw greening woods. Bobby arrived unannounced. Backpack slung with sketches, visions of futures entwined. Spencer chopping wood. Axe biting deep. Sweat sheening broad back. Talk, Bobby demanded, voice brooking no evasion. Spencer lowered the blade, breath heaving. I can't. The eyes on us. Every move dissected. Ethan died in spotlight's shadow, activist heat drawing hate. And you think running saves us? Bobby stepped close, chest to chest. Love isn't safe, Spencer. It's the fight. Tears tracked Spencer's face. Ex forgotten. Scared I'll lose you to this war. Then fight with me. Bobby's kiss was claim. Fierce. Tongues battling doubts. Hands fisting shirt. They collapsed against logs. Passion purging poison. Bodies slick. Cries mingling with bird calls. Stay, Bobby gasped, arching into thrust. Build, Spencer shattered. Vows renewed in release. Forever, spring unfurled tentative in Seattle. Cherry blossoms dusting sidewalks like confetti from a cautious parade. But the scars lingered, charred taqueria beams rebuilt by community hammers. Elena's smile brighter but wary. Insurance checks and GoFundMe floods eased the rebuild. But trust? That mended stitch by stitch. Spencer dove back into Roosevelt's fray. History alive with guest speakers. Queer elders sharing Stonewall scars. Kids like Bobby sketching murals in halls. Fists raised in rainbow defiance. Their love matured. Roots delving deep. Mornings tangled in Spencer's bed. Coffee brewing to lazy kisses. Evenings at the taqueria. Bobby bussing tables while Spencer graded papers at the counter. Elena's pozole their ritual. Family, she'd say, plating extra carnitas. Her accent wrapping the word like a blessing. No more shadows, dates public now. Hands clasped on Capitol Hill strolls. Stares met with chins high. But humanism's core, forgiveness's edge. Mia resurfaced. Contrite letter slipped under Bobby's door. Apology inked with regret. Offer to volunteer at the new GSA club. I was weak. Let me make strong. Bobby waded over sketches. Spencer's counsel steady. Grace isn't weakness. It's power. He invited her to the first meeting. Room buzzing with nervous energy. Kids tentative. Stories spilling like rain. a trans freshman hiding binders, a bi junior dodging dead naming. Mia shared raw. I betrayed a friend for a boy who ghosted. Learned hate's cycle starts small. Eyes widened, then softened, alliance forged in vulnerability. Jake's reckoning humanized too. Summer court. Plea accepted. Community service at a shelter. Mandated therapy. Bobby attended. Not for vengeance, but closure. Jake, stripped of swagger, buzzcut grown shaggy. Eyes downcast, muttered, didn't know. The hurt. Sorry don't fix. But it starts, Bobby replied. Handshake awkward but real. Redemption's path. Crooked but forward. Spencer's ghosts found peace. Memorial for Ethan. June solstice. Scattering ashes at Golden Gardens. Waves lapping like applause. Bobby read a sketch aloud. Ethan as Phoenix. Wings spanning horizons. He lives in us, Spencer whispered. Arm around waist. Salt wind drying tears. Climax's echo faded, but growth bloomed. Bobby's art show. Senior showcase. Centerpiece a triptych, bathroom blood. Cabin fire. Dawn embrace. Titled links forged in storm. Critics raved. Scholarships whispered. RISD beckoning. But Seattle's pull strong. Stay, Spencer asked one night. Balcony overlooking the sound. City lights winking complicity. With you? Anywhere. But choice crystallized. Local community college. Art program grounding roots while wings stretched. Betrayal's lessons wove tapestry. Trust earned. Not given. Love a verb. Active and aching. Elena's taqueria reopened grand. Ribbon cut by mayor. Rainbow piñata bursting sweets. Spencer's toast. To survivors. To love that endures. Fall term. Bobby 18. Lines blurred to equals. Classroom glances turned partner winks. Spencer's desk drawer held Bobby's sketches. Talismans. Intimacy evolved, less frenzy. More savor. Lazy Sundays tracing freckles. Debates over Kerouac fueling pillow talk. Adventures in the Olympics. Tent shared under stars. Bodies warm against chill. One crisp October eve. Cabin rebuilt fiercer. New windows framing evergreens. They gathered. Elena with tamales. Hargrove with tales. Mia with sketches. Even Marcus reformed. Quiet ally. Fire crackled. Stories circled. Pains aired. Joys toasted. Spencer pulled Bobby aside. Porch creaking under boots. Moon silvered the lake. A mirror to souls. Marry me, not ring, but etched key cabins. Their haven. Not legal yet, but vows? Ours. Tears pricked. Joy bubbling. Yes. All in. Kiss sealed. World expanding. Wedding dreams in backyards blooming wildflowers. Elena's veil from Abuela's trunk. Future sketched. Teaching together. Kids maybe. Adopted hearts mending old breaks. Humanism's grace. Not perfection, but persistence. In America's mosaic, flawed. Fierce they carve space, two men. Linked by blood and choice. Building bridges over chasms once filled with threats. Years blurred. Bobby's gallery showings. Spencer's tenure. Elena's retirement to a cottage by the sound. Gray threaded their curls. But fire endured. Hands clasped at pride. Marching under banners bold. In quiet moments. Spencer's whisper. You saved me, kid. Bobby's retort. Grin sly. Always will. And in that always. Redemption. From threats to triumphs. Love's shocking link eternal.